Well, I think it's a very interesting piece. I think although we've just listened to an interview with Eddie Redmayne, and you did touch upon this in the interview, actually the most extraordinary performance perhaps is Alicia Vikander as Gerda, because it's very much, I mean, it's interesting, the whole thing about who the Danish Girl refers to. But her role, I mean, I think she's brilliant. I remember being completely knocked out by her. She won a Kermode Award for Best Actress for A Royal Affair all those years back, and for which she learned a whole new language because she was, and there doesn't appear to be anything she can't do. And certainly in a year in which you've got that and you've got Ex Machina, no, she's extraordinary. What she manages to do with the Danish Girl is, in many ways, sort of provide a way in, because part of what the story is about is somebody finding their own identity, and that's clearly the kind of that's a central theme of it. But another part of it is somebody else losing somebody. And I mean, in that clip when there's the thing about I need to find my husband. Can
you go and get him? Yeah.
And actually, one of the most remarkable things of the parts of the story as told in the film. I mean, obviously there are certain distinctions between there's certain fictionalizations and whatever, but the way the story is told in the film is that what you get is this sense of somebody being very, very steadfast and understanding that the person that they love is really becoming themselves, and that is going to have an impact on the nature of their relationship. And what Vikander does is to make that seem like something that's really happening in front of you, and it's not just to do with Eddie Redmayne's performance. I think his performance, incidentally, is no surprise at all. It is extraordinary. I think I read a review in which somebody was complaining that his mannerisms seem to be sort of almost theatrical, but actually I think that's misjudged. I think it's more to do with it's almost like a period thing. It's to do with when he's sort of adopting certain mannerisms. There is a certain theatricality.
Also in the interview he talked about, I think the phrase he used was ultra feminization.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah,
overdoing it deliberately.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that wouldn't work as well as it does if you didn't believe in Alicia Vikander's gaze, if you didn't believe in the way in which she looks at him and she sees her and she understands that there are two people living together in the person that she loves, and the understanding that she brings to that is actually what mediates the story. The other thing that's strange about it is that it's a film in which there's been an awful lot of attention paid to the way in which the film looks, to the way in which sort of Tom Hooper has orchestrated the design of the movie itself. And again, there's been some criticism that what this has attempted to do is to sort of is to gloss the movie. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that is what happens. I think that so much of it is to do with signifiers. So much of it is to do with what what everything around these characters is telling you, what everything external is telling you about their internal life. I mean, that in a way is a kind of central theme of it, is that what you're doing is you're externalizing an internal crisis. And I think the film manages to do that in a way which is fairly remarkable for a major film. So very good performances. It's good to see that Vikander is getting the kind of attention for it, because obviously there's always the possibility that you're going to be overshadowed by a performance like Eddie Redmayne's, which during the course of the movie is so transformative. And we know already from the fact that he won the Oscar last year, as you were saying, there's a possibility twice in a row. It would be possible for that Alicia Vikander role to be slightly overshadowed. So I generally liked it. I generally thought it was well done, but I just think it's important that her role in it is really, really central to understanding, Einar, Lili, and understanding how that transformation is happening. Do you agree with that, or do you think I'm overplaying her role in it?
No, not at all. I think you're right that the Danish Girl of the title, obviously the assumption is that we're talking about Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
But it could equally apply to Alicia Vikander. And I think you can tell from... He wasn't just being supportive as an actor and as a
no. I think he sounded like he actually meant it.
He wanted. I sense that when I mentioned Alicia Vikander, he was glad that there was a bit in the interview where he actually talking about this other actor who is so central to the way the movie has ended up.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well that in the case of Alicia Vikander's role in Ex Machina, I mean, that is another film which deals in a very, very different way with identity and with gender identity and the question of whether or not, because in that film she's a transformed person, and there is a whole question in that film about whether or not how identity manifests itself. So I'm trying desperately not to give away any Ex Machina plots. But here's the thing: go see Ex Machina as well, and it will all make perfect sense.
I don't think anyone is waiting on nervously thinking, please don't give away the plot of Ex Machina.
No, I'm sorry. I've just become Star Wars obsessed about giving away plot details.